Hey guys, here RH8 welcome to GTA 5 car car episode of the Elegy RH8 going against the Comet. I'm going to be pretty much covering every single category for every single class within the game for cars and pretty much get those out the way so you guys get all the requests done as soon as possible and I can post them as soon as I get these videos edited. So now we got the Comet going against RH8. Next one will probably be Comet against the Obey 9F, so forth, so on and felt to all of that. So stay tuned for that. All of these videos will be coming out as soon as I edit them. So handling, we know the Elegy RH8 is so dominant when it comes to racing. Of course, when taking a corner, his traction and downforce makes his car literally carry so much momentum and speed around a corner. It's ridiculous without losing control because it's very, very grippy onto the ground. Whereas on this car, the Comet is just like the Obey 9F, where it tends to overdo it quite a bit, so it's got the unpredictability every single lap. So it's one of those things you really got to pay attention and concentrate with this car to actually execute a decent lap time. So obviously for efficiency you're going to go for the Elegy RH8, so that's got better handling, of course. Now for acceleration, you see here the Elegy, of course you'd expect that to be slightly better or much better than the Comet. Now here's the thing, alright, this was interesting. The thing about the Comet, it takes an absolute long time for it to reach its top speed. Now what does this mean? On a normal racetrack this wouldn't make any difference to the Elegy because the Elegy will be superior in that sense, but on a very long straight, for technicalities and the minute details, when we look at top speed, which one's better amongst these two, of course we know and we can see from this point here, Elegy is still dominating, but it's still, it sort of reaches top speed, but the Comet hasn't. So taking that into consideration, you see here the Comet is pretty much still going and it still hasn't reached its top speed, which is interesting. Now as I say this time and time again, this is only beneficial on tracks like these where you're on a highway, you're on a straight, alright, sort of a drag race basically. If you're on a normal circuit track, of course the Elegy will dominate against the Comet. So overall top speed is obviously better on the Comet. As you can see, it's reached its top speed now and is better than the Elegy in that sense. But as I said, on a racetrack this wouldn't affect the Elegy at all whatsoever because the Comet would require this much time to actually overtake and reach the top speed. So obviously now we've gathered that information, so we take that onto board. Now obviously the torque here was interesting. It seemed like the Comet actually had more torque, but this is expected obviously with the Elegy to have better torque than the Comet, which was the case. You see here for repair costs, it took $350 to repair for the Elegy, and for the Comet $390. That's expected as well because the Comet is a pretty weak car, just like the Obey 9F and those sort of cars, which is quite interesting, So obviously for customization, we know the Elegy's got a lot of customizable options. It's absolutely crazy. This is a free car in the game, but it dominates so much in different factors. It's ridiculous, but hey, it is what it is. GTA 5 logic. So we've got the Comet here. It's got decent customization and customizable options, but not to the extent where when comparing it to the Elegy RH8. So anyway, you see here for the lap time test, this is another one of those things, man. Obviously the Elegy is going to carry more speed around the corner because you pretty much predict what the car can do, and obviously when you know it's such a grippy car onto the ground with its traction and downforce, you pretty much can take risks with the car. It's the reason why it's it is one of the fastest cars in the game around a lap. So that's expected. Obviously now we're considering the Comet, as we know, tends to oversteer quite a bit with unpredictability, sacrifice a lot of speed, because if you take that corner at high speeds you will of course spin out, and that is the case, just like how it was at the Obey 9F. Even though it had better acceleration and better top speed than the Elegy, you can't take the risk with the Obey, and if you do, you have a high percentage chance of spinning out, just because that car, it's got great turning circle, which doesn't mean you got those options available at high speeds, because if you do take those options at high speeds, you will oversteer, and that's a guaranteed fact. Although the Elegy has a tendency to understeer and poor turning circle, you can take that as sort of a consideration and say, you know what, fuck it, go at high speeds, and you expect that, and there you go, you dominate with the Elegy around every single corner on this game. So Comet got smashed. Comet is still a decent car, man, but when we're now comparing that to Elegy, obviously Elegy dominates. So stay tuned for more comparisons, guys. Check out Obey 9F against the Elegy, as we were considering and talking about that in this episode. Click the annotation on the screen, it will take you straight to the video. I'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching. Check it. Sign out. Good night. Peace. Yeah.